Director, and staff. My name is Ray Guy. At the time, I was president of the Chamber of Commerce of Niagara-on-the-Lake and was invited by the board to sit on the art committee. So I've experienced this process right from the beginning. I'd like to explain why the Chamber is concerned with what has happened. The Chamber has been involved right from the very beginning, from the time of the art, through committees of the town, other community groups. We have tried as best we can to ensure a widespread community support for the schooling in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Not just the high school, of course, but the entire schooling process. We're involved from the Chamber. Why are we concerned? Business interests affect the Chamber most. We're concerned that our employers will not have the staff for part-time work. The students themselves, if crossed out, will not be available to take advantage of the local community. It reduces their volunteer time. There are many studies to indicate that long busing will definitely affect marks and the quality of life will be reduced. When we had the art process, there were opportunities for the community to speak, open sessions. The focus in most of those open sessions were on what about elementary schools, the location of Colonel Butler and Virgil, the opportunity to utilize funds from the ministry to build a new school, where it should go, etc. We never ever thought the closure of Niagara District High School was an option. The art strongly stated, keep the school open. There was, of course, many efforts to say right size, as opposed to keeping the building open, right size the school, make it fit today. 50 years ago, 1,000 kids were there. They are not there today. Right size the school, but keep a high school in Niagara-on-the-Lake. When the DSBN staff decided to recommend to you trustees to close the school, the Chamber then felt you did not have enough community input to the actual decision on the closure of the school. Community input prior to that was discussing elementary school, but not addressing high school. We decided to take a series of questions, put these on a website, and today's communication methods, get a website up, let everybody have a chance to respond. We did a publication campaign. We told everybody in the community, go to the website, register, and tell us what you think. The principal question we put forward to the community was, do they wish to retain a high school in our community? The results? 97% of those that responded were in favor of retention of a high school. That's more than a simple majority. I'm sure you'll agree with me. The Chamber went on with some other questions, and we posed it in such a way as to try to get a community reaction to the problem facing the location of a new elementary high school. We put a question as to retain the high school with, on the same site, an elementary school encompassing all of the other elementary schools except St. David's. Our other option was to leave Parliament Oak as it is and take the new site on the new elementary school to NDSS. The other option was to put that new elementary school on another location. And option 4, we gave everyone a chance to say, should we close the high school and put the new school, the new elementary school on another site? The results on option 1, 46% of the respondents wanted option 1. Another 28% wanted option 2. They couldn't vote for both options. They could only vote for one. Option 3, on a separate site, 26% said that. How many said close the school? Less than 1% of those responding said close this school. If you look at option 1 and 2, which calls for what I call a campus concept, 74% of the respondents supported a campus concept. The idea of a center of excellence in education where elementary and high school were together. A lot of parents did not accept that idea at the beginning, and it was difficult to take them through the process. The art, when it went through all of the options, I think there were about 15 Superintendent Kardazinski can verify. We went through them. I can remember the very first meeting when Superintendent Kardazinski, as chair, said, we're here to make recommendations to the board, to the trustees. We're not here to vote on one option or another. We are here to come up with solutions. The campus concept was the solution, and if you look at those negatives, you'll find not a lot of these elements put in as disadvantages are really negatives. But those are very few compared to some of the other options. I don't have time to show you everything. But here is the advantages of a campus concept. I can tell you that the meeting that we discussed all of this, when we went through the options and said, what are the pros and cons to every option? This is the one option that received the overwhelming advantages. All of your principals who were on that art committee, 5 of your DSBN staff, and 5 of the Parent Teachers Association, all participated in that particular decision. Overwhelmingly was the campus concept for all of the advantages. No split classes in the junior grade. I mean, it was just an astounding, euphoric moment when we got to that stage. What happened? Overwhelmingly, it was the most logical choice. Everybody said that. A month later, we came back. Somehow or other, people wanted to ensure that kids walk to their school. Kids don't walk to school anymore. I've seen them taking buses. I've seen them take parents drop them off by car. So walking to school became their big campaign. And unfortunately, in the art process, we actually voted not to consider or propose to you trustees the campus concept. It's really a shame. It was actually voted out by your staff and parent teachers. You only had 2 outsiders on your art committee. I say to you, your process has been flawed. You said no vote, you took a vote. The overwhelming community wanted it, and it was not proposed to you as trustees. You did not get the option of looking at what was the euphoric moment on that committee when all the advantages were clearly identified. Your director has said very recently, over time, school within a school, Queen Mary within collegiate, having 2 schools in one shared space will benefit all students. Your director has made that very clear through the press. His quote, I found the older kids were really supportive of the younger students. That's exactly what we wanted to get in Niagara-on-the-Lake. But the fear of little Mary at 6-year-old being with Big Johnny at 17-year-old scared him away. They couldn't see the future. We would like to embrace the campus concept, the same as your director has explained to you, is the best way to go for education, creating a center of excellence in education in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Let me take you through a few myths. Myth number 1, I've heard it many times. You don't have enough students to maintain a high school in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Here's a chart. Over the past 10 years, Niagara-on-the-Lake student population has decreased by 2%. Over the same period of time, the entire schooling population of the DSBN region has lost 10%. The figures are there. It's not that we don't have enough students. It's just they've been directed elsewhere. Where did they go? There was a big chart you had with catchment areas and population. I don't want to go through all the schools in your district. That's not what we're here for. We're clearly looking at some St. Catherine's schools and Niagara-on-the-Lake. The catchment area for Niagara-on-the-Lake, as you can see, is huge. The population is not. They must have gone somewhere, and your policies have allowed that to happen. The catchment area for Winston Churchill. Sorry, I always get that one mixed up. Winston Churchill. The catchment area is half the population. You're directing your students to a location as opposed to providing education where the students are located.